With the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League just a few days away, here are a few questions that casual fans might have for what exactly is going on with Justice League and what is the Snyder Cut. Here is my first ever video explaining to everybody what exactly is the Snyder Cut of Justice League. Snyder Cut is director Zack Snyder's original vision for the Justice League film he shot in 2016/2017, but he had to step away from post-production of the film due to the sudden passing of his daughter Autumn Snyder. Warner Brother executives at the time took advantage of this tragedy and had no intentions to delay the movie. They brought in Joss Whedon to reshoot 80% of the movie because they wanted to have a lighter and a more comedic tone like an MCU film. This completely backfired as both critics and audience didn't like it and flopped big time at the box office. After years of petitioning, trending the hashtag release the Snyder Cut, raising money for suicide awareness, and even the original cast and crew championing the movement, the new execs at Warner Media, now run by AT&T, decided to release Zack Snyder's version of Justice League on HBO Max all around the world March 18th. Even if you don't have HBO Max, it will be available in your country. Now you might be thinking to yourself, why in the world would they do Zack Snyder like that? Why would they fire him after such a tragedy happening in his family? Well, to answer your question, there's a lot of evil things that were happening at Warner Brothers at the time. It was ran by a lot of evil people like Kevin Sujihara, Toby Emmerich, John Berg, and Jeff Johns was coming in and pitching them this idea of becoming MCU light. And that's where the idea of Joss Whedon coming in and doing reshoots came in. This was largely in due part to Batman v Superman's reaction by the critics who loathed the movie and did not like the more grounded and realistic tone it had. It's fair to say at the time, a lot of people didn't understand this movie because of movies like The Avengers and Iron Man having a more lighter comedic tone with quips instead of actual dialogue at times. Now, this isn't a piece to criticize MCU's style of filmmaking. It's more about what the expectations was for DCEU to be. The DCEU that Zack Snyder had set up was never gonna be a cheap copy of MCU. It was gonna be its own thing, borrowing some from the New 52, but a lot of it was what writer Chris Terrio and David S. Goyer had perceived a lot of these DC characters as emotional, dark, and realistic, godlike characters. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if you like Snyder's vision or not. His fans wanted to see his version of the movie. That movie you saw in 2017 was not his movie, and we finally get to see what he intended for his vision on March 18th, which is what his fans wanted. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day if this movie satisfies critics or audiences, as long as Zack Snyder himself is satisfied with this version of the movie, which is going to be a 4-hour version of the movie with no Joss Whedon reshoots. Complete Zack Snyder shots with amazing VFX and amazing grounded storytelling. This truly is an unprecedented cinematic event that is going to change Hollywood going forward. Next question. So you might be saying to yourselves again, so is it just an extended version of the movie we saw in 2017? Is it basically the same movie? The answer to that question is absolutely not. This movie is going to be completely different from the one you saw in 2017. The movie we saw in 2017 was only 2 hours long. Zack Snyder wanted the movie to be 3 hours and 34 minutes back in 2016, but Warner Brothers wouldn't let him have that runtime because they wanted, again, the movie to be shorter so they can run more show times at theaters, which is so dumb because MCU literally had Endgame, a 3 hour movie in there that ended up becoming the highest grossing movie of all time. Anyways, now that the movie is being released on HBO Max with Zack Snyder getting full control, creative wise, over the project, he has given the green light to make it a 4 hour and 2 minute runtime for the movie. This includes 3 hours and 30 minutes plus of unseen footage, deep character development moments, and completely different ending with new villains, more superhero cameos. So yeah, basically this is going to be an entirely different experience. Another question that casuals might be having is this movie going to be canon to the DCEU that we know? That, like, for example, movies like James Gunn's Suicide Squad, The Batman, is it going to be in any way, shape, or form gonna connect to those movies? The answer to that is no. So this movie is taking place in the so-called Snyderverse, which is basically Man of Steel, Batman v Superman Ultimate Cut, Wonder Woman Suicide Squad David Ayer's cut, which hopefully gets released someday, and of course Zack Snyder's Justice League coming March 18th. This is the Snyderverse, and basically this is its own thing. It doesn't reference any other movie, it doesn't connect to anything. It's in its own bubble, so to say, which is a good thing because there won't be any studio meddling to add a certain character or reference a certain event or anything like that. This is completely separate from everything that's going on in the DCEU right now. And there's going to be more Justice League if this movie is successful and people watch it, talk about it, and subscribe to HBO Max. I have no doubt in my mind we will see Justice League 2 and 3 on HBO Max or maybe even in theaters if this movie is successful, which I think it already is. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe and share this video.